start the recording, and I do thereby declare the March meeting of Shire of Wagin open, 7:01. Just to note for the visitors in the gallery this evening, this meeting is being audio recorded, part of council policy. So if you're asking a question, making a statement or deputation to the meeting, this will be audio recorded. You're also reminded that no other visual or audio recording of this meeting by any other means is allowed. So, by way of record of attendance, we have a full house tonight, which is terrific, and 2 members in the gallery. We have item 2, public question time, and by way of question time, I think deputations will come up shortly. Am I right, Mr. CEO?
Yeah, item 4 is petitions and deputations, of which we have one deputation, at least on the books.
We have no pre-written public questions?
Not at this time.
Okay, so item 2.1, previous questions taken on notice are nil. 2.2, public questions again nil. Item 3, applications for leave of absence. Be for the April meeting at the earliest. Okay, there being none, we will then go to item 4, being petitions, deputations, and 2 fellows here with us this evening by order of seniority, if nothing else. I would ask Greg if you'd like to come forward, state your name for the record.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. My name is Greg Brockway, and I'm president of the local sub-branch of the RSL. I'll lose my cheat sheet. Approximately a year ago, we attempted to gain access to the old library building with our motion that was presented to council, and it was unsuccessful. Last Friday at our regular get-together, we had an attendance of 12. We have 12 chairs in the room, so we're at full capacity. It was crowded, it was loud, it wasn't a very pleasant experience. There are a number of members who were not in attendance, and if any of them had turned up, we wouldn't have been able to find seats for them. This does not happen often, but even with less than 12, it is quite crowded in that room. Suggestion was put to we approach council to reconsider their decision of last year and allow us access to the building. Our plan would be to raise funds ourselves to do the work necessary to bring the building up to a reasonable standard. To survive, we need to expand. We cannot expand where we are, and we need an alternative ground floor premises. So I'll ask you to reconsider that, and I'll leave it in your hands. Thank you very much.
All right, just before you leave, there's an opportunity for
Questions?
councillors to ask a question. No, I think you're fairly self-explanatory. Sorry, Councillor West?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
No? All right, thank you. We will
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
give due consideration.
Thank you.
All right, Xavier. Once again, state the name for the record.
Yeah, Xavier White. I'm just here to give an update on the pump track. So we've been pushing to get a pump track in town for a fair while. There's a fair bit of support for it. There's a proposed Wagin pump track Facebook page and a few other things that have got a lot of following. The Shire and the Wagin Action Group went halves in a concept design, if you remember, and so that's happened now. So we've got the concept design package. Common Ground Trails came down with a heap of the guys that were sort of interested in making it happen. They're quite excited about the site. There's a lot of trees in the way, but we've worked around pretty much all of them. There's a couple of very small ones that might need to move, but on the whole, they've made a design. So we've got all of that stuff here. We can probably get that through to you after. There's a full design here. So we've had a site survey done. It fits quite well. So everything's kind of ready to go to the next stage, I suppose. We printed off the costing.
Yeah, so they're just those there.
So the site hasn't changed, then we're still looking at the same Ram Park.
It just makes sense. Like, I think from our point of view, the more you can keep the stuff together, use the common toilet that's already there, use the playground that's next door if some kids want to be on a push bike and someone to use the playground, it just makes sense to keep things together and less of this kind of spread sort of stuff. And the site works for what's proposed, I suppose. There's a bottom line number. There's a few. It's a black and white copy. So there is a down the bottom. There's a few things like a if then on the numbers that have been. So WAGs can do some in-kind work, and there's a few options there as well. But yeah, it's kind of where we're at, really. I'm wondering what the next step is.
All right. Quick read, Mr. CEO, if you wish to.
Yeah.
While I'm able to read.
Yeah, sure. So the very, very small font, obviously, of that costings, but the bottom line there in terms of the number excluding GST is 320,000. Now that is exclusive of some contingency and cost escalation, which takes it up to the 352 mark. WAGs have estimated that they can probably bring down the number by $30,000. Although that costing that's already there does include already that the Shire would be undertaking a lot of the groundworks prior to common ground doing it and the clearing ourselves and the like.
I think the WAGs can probably do the bulk of that.
So in terms of next steps, as part of the winter program for the McCusker Centre citizenship, we've actually put in a request that UWA provide us with a student to do a grant application for the pump track. That would be in the July period. We've also made representations to the Department of Local Government and Sport about their funding programs. Obviously, they're in a bit of a different phase at the moment where they're reprofiling their program with their 30 for 30 program, or the 3,000 for 30 program, which is basically the current government's kind of spinned new sporting funding program. They haven't made any announcements about that yet, but it's definitely on their listing. As part of the 26-27 budget, we'll be asking council to make some decisions about whether it wishes to commit further funds to this project and what those further funds looks like. It probably wouldn't be, it will not be the full amount of funding because this project can never be funded Shire only, but whether it wants to allocate some funding towards a partial part in terms of a grant application in next financial year, or whether it wants to potentially just keep it reserve funding and utilise that reserve funding as part of a grant application into the future. That's kind of where we're at the moment. Obviously, this has come through quite recently, and WAGs have done a tremendous job providing both the costings and also the information about where that they think that they can provide some in-kind funding. A couple of months ago, I also went up to Pingelly and had a look at their pump track. Some learnings up from that one there. That was an LRCI project and a Lottery West funding project. And yeah, this one's kicking along, and we're obviously asked WAGs to come and re-engage with council tonight just to give a bit of an update about where it was at.
All right, okay. Councillors? Questions, thoughts, Councillor Ball?
No, I thought perhaps you've already answered the question about how much input. I expected quite a bit more than that off the total value instead of around 30 or 40 grand. Have you got a feel for, is that as far as it could go, or is it likely to be 60 or 80? Or?
I'm actually not the best person to be here, Greg. Daryl Serkin has done a huge amount of work on this. I'm the typical push it and get it going guy, and he's done all of the detail, and he's on site at the moment, so he can't be here. What are you laughing at? Phil? So yeah.
Just a stab would do it. I mean, is it considerably more or just a bit more?
I don't actually know, Greg. I suspect.
If I can, at the end of the day, it's probably not going to have a dramatic effect either way, unless we're talking 100 or thereabouts. I'd say maybe 30 or 40 or 50 might be where you're at,
Yeah.
be my guess, and it's probably not going to significantly alter my thinking. Mr. CEO, with these funding rounds, as you know, the CRSFF for this year has been suspended. I don't know whether councillors are aware of that, but that's just suspended this year. The reasons for that I won't go into, but it has. So that means all those grant applications for community sport rec funding won't get a Guernsey this year. So you can double those going into the pool for next year. That's going to make it very difficult to get any money out of the state in that space. Lotteries Commission, I guess the bottom line is, to me at least, what's the one-for-one kind of funding ratio we might be looking at, a 2-for-1 or whatever the council might need to find, if we can find external funds?
Yeah, it would be at least a third.
Yep.
A third would be an absolute minimum.
Councillor West, do you have a question?
Yeah, that body that you were talking about, is that the same body that funded the W Young Pool?
I couldn't tell you who funded W Young Pool, to be honest. Don't know.
It was 5
It is?
I certainly didn't fund all of it.
No.
It was, I think they got 1.5 or so out of the CRSFF.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, but while it's suspended, that doesn't trouble us right now when it's suspended, but when it hopefully it reopens in the future, and I think it will be way oversubscribed straight up, would be my thinking.
Yeah, so in terms of the order of things, we've had the concept, we've got the detailed design now, we've got the costings. The next step is the business case and the grants application, we're looking to bring in some free labour from the university program to do that.
Yep.
We're also keen to have those continuing conversations with the Department of Sport about what its expectations are going to be on a business case and a grant application. Increasingly, we're seeing the outsourcing at cost of business cases and funding applications, which I am loath to do, because the worst thing I think you can do is spend money for the purposes of getting grant applications, but it really is becoming a cottage industry out there to unlock these competitive funding rounds. Whether that's something that we need to do, I think, as Councillor Ball alluded to, there are some further information about the ins and outs. I think that a lot of the funding that WAGs can bring, a lot of in-kind support that WAGs can bring, are actually in the line items that aren't listed as funded items, because the tree clearing and the groundwork and the site preparation are major works that they haven't included in there because of the assumption that the Shire or WAGs, or combination of the both, can do them, and that's an extra $100,000 of work there, which is why this one comes at the figure it did, and Pingelly's is a different number.
That should be considered in kind when going for a grant, shouldn't it?
Absolutely, and so it should be costed as well.
Yep.
And that's not a knock on this assumption, because the people that put this together weren't asked to cost that.
Yep.
But we'd be able to cost that up. Yeah.
All right, I'm just discussing with the works manager about the costings of the asphalt, knowing where we are with anything bituminous or petroleum based. trying to get an understanding of how much that might rise or whether that's factored in, do you think?
That's exciting. Does that mean you're going to get on with it in the next 6 months?
Could be. Yeah, if we could get it at a price, maybe we would, but.
And you could even, I don't know what's left out at the quarry out there, but whether we can snaffle a bit of boy metal and stuff out of there, I'm not sure. At Wardy's.
With the price of diesel at the moment, the pump track may actually become our new heavy haulage route.
Quite right, yeah.
I suppose the other thing to mention is that we'd rather chuck in as much as we can ourselves. We've got money to put towards it, and if council can suggest any paddocks to farm for us, we'll tuck in and make more. So we'd rather do that than go for grants. If we can find a paddock to get on with, we'll just pay for it. Yeah, have a crack. So.
Okay, all right, so Mr CEO, we would be going to a business case proposal before budget?
I think there's some further conversations with the Department of Sport. So the conversation I had with them, which was just before Christmas, was everything's on hold in that part. And I thought we might have some answers by now on where they were going with this, these programs, because we are, everyone's in this process of leading into budget.
Yep.
I think it's very, very opportune that WAGS is presented tonight. So I have a conceptual idea of where we're going with this, and perhaps not the most concrete. This is what I'm going to ask council to be funding as part of this, because it does depend on a little bit on where the state government's going with its grant program, and our readiness to provide a business case as well. As part of our business planning, the truth is we haven't formally taken an item to council's offices saying this is the pump track proposal. This is the site where it's intended on going. As I've indicated to the WAGS, from an officer's perspective, it's really important this is driven by the community at this stage, and that WAGS makes representations to council that it wants to pursue this, because this is one possible use not only of Shire funds, but it's also one use of the wetlands park and all like that. Officers don't have I don't have a council resolution to build a pump track in the wetlands, for example, and the removal of any tree anywhere at any time causes great consternation around the traps as well. And so I wanted to give the opportunity tonight for WAGS to come and express it to council ourselves, and then we'll go away with WAGS and present an item to council in the future as well to get some formal council decisions in this space as well.
Okay, that's the one.
Is WAGS incorporated?
Oh, that's a nudgy question. Well, Brian?
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Because right off the top of my head, the concept of a self-supporting loan for someone would hurry things up, but you need to have a certain status, I guess, as an organisation. So perhaps you could follow that up.
Have a look at that. So, Mr CEO, again, to get a plan to budget, is there sufficient time for you to research that and bring it to the next council meeting by way of preliminary, or do we do that now?
Well, I don't anticipate a scenario. This doesn't eliminate all the scenarios, but I don't anticipate a scenario that officers would be asking council to fund a 1/3 contribution out of Mooney funding for 26-27. I don't see a scenario where officers would ask council find $110,000 for a 1/3 contribution to the pump track.
Right, so you don't see that, or you do?
I don't see that scenario. Because of the nature of the other competing projects that we have, the need for financial restraint while cost pressures are exploding through the war in Iran and all that sort of stuff. That doesn't mean that council can't find ways to fund this project if the magic money tree from the state dropped the apples down, because we have reserves that could be repurposed there's loans, there's other arrangements. Whether council in budget discussions goes, you know what, we're not going to fund 110, but let's put away 10,000 or 30,000 for something in that space as that is a more realistic, I think, officer recommendation that council would need to talk about in the business plan,
Put it up over 2 years or some such. Okay.
potentially.
That makes sense.
What are you thinking, councillors?
Just going back with the design, that you feel that is the final design? So you
Well, I'll leave that here.
yeah.
It is a good design. It's purpose built for there. They've come out, looked at the place, looked at everything, and sort of done that mock up around the existing trees and around all of that sort of stuff, and then.
So you call it a final design, it's not a draft design?
Well, it's a concept, so they're open for feedback, I guess. Like,
Yeah,
if
okay.
this isn't the actual design, we can give them feedback and change things, but it's the most appropriate for that place within a budget, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I'll leave this here
Yeah,
anyway, and you can see all of the considerations and all of that sort of stuff. So.
Can I just ask, do you have an electronic copy of that, so that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so we
Ken's
can
got
get it sent to our CEO,
Yeah.
he can distribute it
Yeah,
to us.
so I didn't want to, you never get this order right. You never want to send it out beforehand so people didn't, because I wanted WAGs to be able to present it in their own words, which means you didn't have the presentation prior. It also means you didn't have the presentation prior, so.
So yes, we can do that.
The answer is absolutely yeah.
Great.
Yes.
That'd be good.
All right. So the university help that you referred to, what's the time frame of that?
July.
It's a bit tight for the budget.
Yeah, and that's the consideration, I guess, is that I don't see. I mean, we're already in March now. The business case that you're going to need to unlock $250,000 of state government funding is a substantial business case. There's a lot of work in that. And it feeds into the 26-27 budget, but again, I wouldn't be asking council to fund the 1/3 contribution out of the 26-27 budget, because I like asking council to fund things I believe we can deliver. And if you're asking us to deliver something where the 2/3 of funding required to do it is a theoretical rather than a.
What if we matched you 30 grand?
Pardon?
What if we matched you 30 grand?
Well, I'm saying 130 grand though. So it's,
Oh, right. Oh, you were talking about 30.
yeah, and 30 is kind of the almost like I view it almost as a this is the wrong wording, but almost like a goodwill gesture it's not a
To start.
it's an ongoing concern, I guess, this project, and I hesitate to say that it's for extra investigations, because it's not, because we've done the investigations.
Yeah.
But on a project that requires external funding to achieve it as a reality, given the market conditions that we have the uncertainty about the best door to be knocking on at the moment,
Yeah.
it's difficult to, as an officer, to make recommendations to council for a commitment of funding beyond a piecemeal,
Yeah.
just to keep our toes in the water, as it were.
All right. The alternate to that is that we flag our 1/3 of that figure in our budget deliberations. Flag it. I'm not saying it's a fait accompli, because the razor gang has to get to the budget on the way through, and reality has to strike. If we flag it now, maybe by way of motion, Mr. CEO, then the business case can still be mounted by July, and the expenditure won't be until early in the new year anyway, based on the grant process. But if we don't do it that way, then we're at least another year out, I guess is where I'm going. If we flag it now, there is some chance of progress.
So a motion that I'd be comfortable acting upon, and see as a way forward, is one that requests that I take a paper to the April council meeting, shoring up council's desire for a pump track at the Wetlands Park. Because I don't know that I've got that yet.
Probably not, no. Yes. That might take some consideration. All right.
And I don't necessarily need a motion to that. I can take a hint.
I think, all right, we will take that on board.
Thank you.
I think-
So I guess we were told last time I came,
Same thing, yeah.
well, but to make, just like show public support, so we've made the Facebook page, we put in a stack of money to get the concept done, we've done, all of that kind of stuff, I suppose. So, yeah, we're waiting to hear from you, but yeah, we're happy to work and put in money, I guess, and,
All right,
yeah.
okay. All right.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming along.
Leave that.
We will consider it, councillors.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay.
Oh, thank you.
You'll have success one on.
No. Oh, it's riveting stuff.
All right,
Thank
you.
Okay, we'll move on, councillors. Item 5, disclosure of interests.
Views received so far. There is one from Councillor Ball and one from Councillor Ryan.
Okay, councillor Ball, item 8.1.11, whatever that is.
It's the,
Something to do with trees, I believe.
Oh, yes, planting of trees, yes, okay. Councillor O'Brien, staff accommodation is a proximity interest.
That's right, early on the, on 8.1.5.
Sorry, yes, 8.1.5, all right, thank you. You do notice any interest as we go along, councillors, please note to us. That being the case, item 6, confirmation of previous meeting minutes and the minutes of the ordinary meeting held 24th February. Recommendation that they be confirmed. True and correct. Councillor Kilpatrick has moved, Councillor Ball seconds. Is there any dissent on the motion? Declare that carried. Minutes 6.2 of the Staff Accommodation Advisory Group, 17th of March. And it is merely that the minutes be received. Councillor Kilpatrick has moved, Councillor Reid seconds. Nothing further to come from that at this stage.
Not this time.
Any questions? Dissent on the motion? Declare that carried. Item 7, be announcement of the President. Okay. Given what we've just heard from the pump track proponent, it's perhaps a timely opportunity for me to suggest that we do at least formally note to our CEO that we have an interest in pursuing a pump track. Is that the right wording? Can we move a motion in this part of the agenda without pre-planning it?
As I remember, the meeting's yours to
I
govern.
thought it was.
Yeah.
Just asking for confirmation. Councillors? Would you, I'm just concerned that if we do nothing, virtually gets away for another year in a blink of an eye, and the alternative to that is that we flag that we are interested if the CEO could bring concept plans and to the next council meeting or something to that effect.
Yes, I'd be happy to move that council affirm the commitment to establishing a pump track, and it's requesting further information from the CEO on the way forward.
Right. All right, councillor, you...
I'd like to ask a question.
Okay, just, I might just seek a seconder for that motion first. Okay, thanks, councillor Kilpatrick. Yes?
At what point can the councillors, or how do us as councillors get together to discuss this concept so that we have a better idea of where it's to be, what it's all about? You know, I don't know much about it at all.
Okay. What we're saying
I'm supportive
tonight,
of the concept,
Yeah.
but I didn't realise that the whole thing was asphalt. I thought it was earthen, and so that's a bit of a surprise.
Mhm.
So at what point and how can us councillors get together to discuss it, what our thoughts are without it
Okay.
being formal?
Yeah, without a formal process of council.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's two possibilities. It could form part of a forum evening. The base premise of it would, if we do get it as far as budget, could well be deliberated there as well in the budget sessions, I suspect, but rather do it before then.
It needs
Rather
to
than
be
during the
before then.
budget sessions. So I would suggest by way of one of those forums. We've held few of those of late, but there is the opportunity, the time is right to do that, Mr. CEO.
Yeah, I think, in answer to Councillor Bryan's question directly, this project is different from many of the ones that come to council because it is not being driven by officers. Very deliberately, it is but being driven by the Wage and Action Group. And so that makes the idea of how does council come together to talk about the proposal a little bit challenging, because questions like should it be an earthen pump track or an earthen pump track with asphalt in it were in part answered by the members of the Wage and Action Group when they were with Common Ground to my left there, having a look at the terrain as users of the pump track. And so while the conventional answer would be we could do a forum and everything like that, many of I suspect some of those technical questions are actually ones that are being driven by the Wage and Action Group as the proponents of this proposal.
That makes sense, totally.
So that's sort of their design standard, I take it.
A little bit, and it might be that as the intermediary between council and the like is that I organise a briefing with the Wage and Action Group members and council as a joint exercise that come together and hash this out. But it is, it's a different sort of project because again, speak on behalf of the people that aren't in this room, I think that there's a consensus from Wage and Action Group that this is the design, that's the location, please fund it, which is perhaps,
Not how it works.
perhaps.
You had a question?
No, I was actually going to make a suggestion that Mr. CEO actually made, that we get together with Wage and Action Group and
Yes.
discuss it further.
Right. Okay. So for the benefit of the moment, we have a motion. Mr. CEO, would you like to read that?
Yeah, the one I took down was the council affirmed its commitment to a pump track and requested the chief executive prepare a report on the pump track for council's consideration.
Report, is it a business plan or would a report encompass all?
I think it's one, if it may, Mr.
Yes.
It's one report for a start and then a business plan once we consider the report. That'd be my suggestion. It's too early for a business plan, so we need to
Yeah.
consider the ins
Put
and
the horse
outs.
before the cart.
Can I also suggest within the wording of that motion, I'm a little concerned about confirming our commitment, that pretty much says we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I'd probably word it to suggest that we are,
Supportive?
well, I don't know, considering the proposal.
I may have been misquoted by Mr. CEO. Support was
Okay.
my intention. May have not have been my words, but
Yep.
I'm not convinced we need a motion.
It is the council's meeting.
That's why I'm looking at the structure. I don't wish to bind at council. That's where I'm going with this, because it could be out of our capacity. I don't think it is, but it could be.
Could we not put the word interim in between council and supports? Interim support,
So,
not full support.
so if we were looking for a resolution for council post that deputation, it might be, depending on what council wants to do,
Mm.
it might be that council wants to acknowledge the presentation and set a course of action after that, which could be request that the WAGs meet with council to discuss the project further, or it could be request the CEO conduct a report, it could be any manner of things.
All right.
Because the reason, the rationale for the motion is that, as I understand, is that WAGs has presented, and you want to acknowledge that WAGs has come to present here, that council has actually, so the minutes record that council listened to them and are progressing this project down a continuum without committing council to funding the project at that location at this time and all those things.
Mm.
So the motion could be council acknowledges the presentation from Wage and Action Group. Would that be enough?
Yeah.
Councillor Ball.
not for me, but the feeling of the room may well be different. I think I'm quite happy to support. The
Do you-
support may well be $5, or it might be 150,000.
So,
We're not binding ourselves to a particular figure.
no, that motion, that what's written there isn't really your motion. Would you like to have another crack at it?
But the feeling of the room is obviously a bit different to what I'm thinking, so.
Well, yeah, it may be, but if you wish to put your motion, we'll pursue that. You have the floor. Here's your motion.
I'll withdraw.
You withdraw the motion?
Yeah.
Councillor Kilpatrick?
Councillor Ball was to withdraw, that's fine.
You're comfortable with that? Okay, we'll withdraw that. Mr. CEO, you were wording something which I thought was fairly appropriate.
You probably.
You've lost it now.
What's that for?
Oh dear.
So there was the twofold aspect that council acknowledges the presentation,
Yes.
or thanks the Wage and Action Group for the presentation. The next part is the important part, is what do you want to do next? So, and I don't want to speak for council here clearly, but it could be organise a briefing with WAGs. It could be asking me to do a report. It could be list for consideration in the budget a certain amount if you wanted to be particularly bold. But the important part is what is the next step that council sees to make this happen. And I acknowledge that will probably be different for each councillor in the room depending on their prior involvement with their project, their personal views about the viability of that pump track project and what they need to do to make themselves comfortable with making a decision about such an important project.
Yep. Councillor Reid?
I'd like to move that we acknowledge the presentation and we list for consideration in the budget what we can do to support it going forward.
Okay, thank you.
That doesn't include, we still need a report. I think like the report from the CEO,
Yeah.
from
Okay.
the consultants,
I'll just
consultation.
work through one step at a time, councillors.
All right.
To support in the budget. Your wording?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to record this, but the part of the support may be that we hold a discussion or a briefing or a forum, whatever the,
Yeah, just let's get the motion written first and then we'll
yeah.
go into argument if you like. There we go. All right, so that's your motion. Comfortable with that? You don't wish to add? Report? And my take on that is that to be in the budget, there would be supporting documents. Mr. CEO?
Depending on the scale of the project.
Yep. Hold on, councillor
With
Reeves.
the included information, be that a report or
It's a fair example of why we have staff who spend time pre-writing these recommendations. It's always difficult when you try to then create a motion from the floor.
report was probably a shorter word, but.
I think there's an extra word in there that needs to be removed. On the second line, after consideration and before what, the word on, I don't believe belongs there.
Yeah, okay. But at the end of the day, what that is trying to do is put it to the budgetary process.
Yes.
That's what you're trying to
That's what I'm
achieve.
trying to do, is do it to the process.
And I can read that into that statement. You don't look convinced, councillor?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. It seems we're a step ahead of where we should need to be.
Okay. Councillor Reid's motion as written, you're comfortable with that, councillor Reid?
Yeah, I think that'll just get us to the next stage.
I'll
It's not
then
committing
ask-
us to anything.
Sure, I'll ask if there's a seconder for that motion. Councillor Chilcott, second. All right, could go through a bit of a process. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
I think it's a reasonable thing to do. We've had a presentation, there's obviously been a lot of work done previously that I haven't been a part of, but it seems like an awful lot of work's been done. They know what they would like to achieve, the community seems to have had input in it from what I can see. And all we're doing is acknowledging that work they've done and looking at ways we can support them in the budget process, whatever that may be.
Okay, thank you. I should ask, is there speakers against? All right, just councillor Chilcott gets the opportunity to speak to the motion.
I agree with what Councillor Reid said, and I have been privy to all the presentations that we've had for a number of years towards this pump track. I believe that it's a good project for the youth of the town, but I believe that it's an all ages participation thing as well. So I'd like to see it go ahead. I am very interested in seeing further supporting documentation. But everything that Councillor Reid has said, I agree with.
All right, councillor Kilpatrick.
I understand and I'm supportive of the principle of the pump track, but I just don't think that we're going around the right way, and I'd like to see a report that sort of explains what work we're going and the process that we need to get there first.
All right, speakers for? Councillor West,
Question.
you may.
In that motion up there, should there be something to do with funding opportunities or not?
That's the budget.
Was that will come out in the budget, so, yeah, okay.
At least that's my read of it. Can't be guaranteed, but that's my read of it. All right, no more discussion? You're wavering, Councillor Paul.
I'll speak against, but I may not vote against. But, I agree with Councillor Kilpatrick about the process. Process driven, I suppose, some of the time at least. But I don't want to see a motion put and fail that doesn't give the outward support to the WAGs and the pump track concept. So if we're dealing with semantics to agree, then I'll waver, but it's not as tidy as I'd like, but that's all I'd say.
Yeah. I understand. Okay, that being no further speakers, Councillor Reid in closing.
I think it's, for me, it's just acknowledging the work they've done, and it gives us a bit of direction to discuss it further in the future and get more information.
All right.
I believe.
That being the case, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? Carried 6-1. Oh, it's always good fun. All right, we're in the announcements. The other thing I wish to announce is the lack of fuel. I don't know whether you've noticed.
Just a bit.
It seems to be a very hot topic. I've had more phone calls on that issue than anything for the rest of the year, and I don't know quite why, because I'm only a lowly Shire president. But it is an issue, it's out there. So I did sit in on 2 days ago on a meeting with whatever advocacy position that Rob Cossart has been given by the state. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. But we have been asked to keep them informed. I've spoken to most of our local suppliers, and they seem at the very moment to be modestly comfortable that they can deliver the usual requests of fuel as they come to them. But whether that will be maintained when the cropping season starts in 10 days' time after this rain, only time will tell. But anyway, there's a lot going on in that space. All right, moving on. Item 8, 8.1. 8.1.1, monthly financial report and report for the month of February. The recommendation that council receive. Councillor Kilpatrick has moved, Councillor Reid seconds, Manager of Finance. Anything you wish to add?
No.
No? Not too easy. Councillors, questions of the finance report? You have had the opportunity, of course.
Not in final?
Pardon?
No, all good.
No? That being the case, is there any dissent on the motion? I shall declare that carried 7-0. Next item is going to be on, here it is, page 48.
Thank you.
8.1.2 of the schedule of payments for February, and there's a recommendation that council receive the list of accounts paid by the CEO under delegated authority during February. Moving, Councillor Chilcott?
I am.
Okay. Have a second there? Councillor Kilpatrick. Once again, the chance to question those payments. If there are no questions, no dissent on the motion, shall declare that that carried 7-0. 8.1.3 on page 54. It's the CEO's activity report for February-March. There's a recommendation, council notes the report. Councillor Ball has moved. Do I have a seconder? Councillor O'Brien, Mr. CEO, anything you wish to expand upon?
Just the review into Racing WA. Unfortunately, today I was advised that the review team, for a combination of factors beyond their control, won't be attending the Wage and Trots. In addition to the call that I got from our officers immediately prior to the council's meeting, I actually got a call from the reviewer themselves, and they wish to pass on their regret at not being able to attend the Trots meet. There's some extenuating circumstances there which I won't go into, but that would have been a really good opportunity to showcase what is an amazing event, and the opportunity will be extended to Trots to have a Teams meeting with them to make their case as well. But yeah, that was some late breaking news this afternoon.
All right, thank you. Questions, councillors? Councillor Patrick?
Yeah, just with the Puntsman Dam, it says late March, they're still on schedule, and do you have any pictures at all? I was hoping to have a look, but yeah, have you any pictures that shows the works at all?
I was up there on Friday, and all the gear's still there, and they've done the spillway and they've rocked it all, and where it comes out off the rock, that's all in place with a cage over it. So I don't know if they're finished or what's going on, but all their gear's still there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last meeting I had with the Water Corp was that they were very much moving to the complicated conversation about land transfer. That they didn't anticipate any dramas with the works. I will re-engage with Water Corporation about that because they had given every indication that that would be all sorted. Depending on the weekend weather, they might struggle to get their trucks out. We might be able to add some plant to the Shire's plant. Inventory, that's right.
All right.
May I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
What sort of a...
We are in the CEO's report,
sorry,
the works manager's
sorry.
report.
Sorry.
Hold that one until we get to there, perhaps.
Yeah.
All right. Any further of the CEO's report? If not, I do have a, yes, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any dissent on the motion? I shall declare that carried 7-0. Okay, 8.1.4 on page 57, annual budget review. CEO, do you wish to take us through the document?
Yeah, so I point councillors to the very detailed report that the Manager of Finance has prepared regarding this. Obviously, we'll happy to field any questions about any overs and unders, but this is to give a very layman explanation, a mid-year budget review is a pause point where we reflect on what's cost more than we thought it would, what things happened that we didn't expect that we'd have to be paying for, and how we intend to accommodate those things while keeping the budget in a neutral position. So, as ever, there's lots of ins and outs. Mileage varies, objects in the mirror appear larger than sometimes they really are. And sometimes objects in the front vision mirror appear larger than they really are. But essentially, we're still in a good position despite accelerating costs and some unforeseen circumstances which couldn't be good. Welcome any questions about particulars that our council have.
All right. Yes, Councillor?
I have a question.
Sure.
The SAM trailer, refurbish not required, so have we finally declared it dead, or is it being refurbished, or?
No, the SAM, rumours of the SAM trailer's demise were exaggerated, to quote American author.
Yeah.
And
Rumours of my death.
that's right. So the SAM trailer is is working. We took it to Perth. It's been a couple of days under the loving care of the guys that do that work,
Yes.
and for a couple $100, it came back fixed. It did make its appearance both at the Christmas carnival
Okay.
thingy,
Street carnival.
street carnival, sorry, and also at Wallarama. So, yep, it's still ticking away.
Oh, cool.
All right. Any questions? Any further questions? I should otherwise ask for councillor to move on the recommendation. You're moving, councillor Kilpatrick?
Yes.
Thank you. Still open to questions. Councillor Ball, seconds. Any further questions on the document? Seems quite comprehensive. Thank you. Is there any dissent on the motion? If not, I shall put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? Carried. 7-0. Okay.
77?
Sorry?
77.
77. Yes.
Declared interest.
There is. 8.1.5, staff accommodation. Councillor O'Brien has left the room. Okay. CEO.
Happy to field any questions. No, happy to field any questions that the councillors have about.
All right. So there's two motions here.
That's correct.
They
Yes.
can be dealt separately or in block.
That's correct. So the staff accommodation advisory group met and made the recommendation that appears in the first part. There's an additional officer recommendation post that meeting which suggests that if council wishes, it may wish to appoint additional members to the staff accommodation advisory group. It's obviously matter of public record now that Councillor O'Brien has declared a proximity interest in such matters, and it may be the council wishes to appoint additional members in addition to Councillor Kilpatrick to continue to advise on the project should council wish to proceed.
Yeah. All right, councillors. Councillor Wall,
I'll move on the recommendation.
on the first one,
I
or
guess,
on both, because if you're moving on both, we may need to put some names into A and B.
just on the first one, I guess that if that doesn't get up, then the second one is.
I think that's a fair way of doing it, yes, all right. So I don't actually have a number against them, but on the recommendation in accordance with the dot points 1 to 6, Councillor Ball has moved. Councillor Kilpatrick, are you seconding that motion?
Yes, sir.
All right. Extensive stuff, and it's terrific that we're looking at getting on with it. Is there any dissent on the motion? That being the case, I shall put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? It is carried absolutely 6-0. And the second recommendation is not necessary, but it's an option.
I'd be happy to join the.
Okay.
Circus is not the right word. Excuse me.
All right.
I would also like to add my name.
All right. So we have two names there, and Councillor Ball and Councillor Chilcott. And I need someone then to move that they be. Councillor Kilpatrick has moved. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Reid. CEO, this is a separate motion to the motion for which Councillor O'Brien declared an interest.
It is. Reinvite Councillor O'Brien.
I think
back
perhaps
there?
we could invite Councillor O'Brien back before we put it to the vote.
Sure.
Good point.
Yep, that's, yep, that works out.
So we'll put in block, wouldn't it, mate? There you go.
troublemaker, Chairman.
You are.
You're not alone.
Could they be in block because one's from our officer and one's from the advisory group? Semantics.
Mischievous.
Now you're testing me.
Do we need to catch councillor O'Brien up?
Yes, we do. Councillor O'Brien, the second recommendation on this item was merely to do with appointing additional members. So it wasn't part of the, of which you have declared a proximity interest at all. So you're entitled to be here, in my opinion,
Oh,
but
okay.
that's your decision. I thought at the very least we should offer you the opportunity. I don't believe you have a proximity interest in who's on the group.
We sit next to one another.
That could well be the difference. So if you're comfortable, we will continue. Well, I have received 2 nominees to be on that committee, and the motion has been moved and seconded. So that being the case, is there any dissent on the motion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. 7-0. Oh, that's part of the...
Sorry, it's, it's 93.
93, 103. Right, 8.1.6 on page 93, there's a policy review with regards to roadside clearing of fence lines and road reserves. And a recommendation, Mr CEO, is to expand. No. Councillors, how do you wish to deal?
I'll move on the
Moving on the recommendation, thank you, Councillor Ball has moved. Do I have a second? Councillor Kilpatrick. Is there any dissent on the motion? To declare that carried, 7-0.
97.
97, consideration of discount interim rates following the conversion of unimproved value to gross rental value of property assessment 2045. This is only for the current rating period, Mr.
That's
CEO?
correct, till 30th of June for the interim rate.
It's not for the next budget.
So,
All right. Okay, there's a recommendation. You're moving, Councillor Ball? Do we have a seconder? Councillor O'Brien's nodding ahead. Was that a seconding?
Oh, yes.
You would have bought the
Keep that head.
yeah. Councillor O'Brien has seconded the motion. Is there any questions of the CEO? Any dissent in the motion? Of the motion, I should declare that carried, 7-0. Okay, item 8.1.8 on page 100. It's got a little bit more complicated in the last little moment of time, Mr. CEO.
what was that question?
Councillors, Councillor Reid,
I've got a question.
okay.
With that presentation we had tonight, are we able to lay this on the table to the next meeting? Because I, for one, probably need a bit more information about this item now. I didn't actually know about that previous.
The RSL, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that.
No, you may not have, that certainly had come to council.
Certainly, it could have, and again, yeah, probably a bit more information now, for me anyway.
Yes, Mr. CEO, comfortable we
Oh.
lay that on the table
Oh.
until the next meeting?
Procedural motion to that effect would be fine. So the, I guess the information I provide to council to reiterate is that there is an existing council resolution regarding the use of the Roads Board building. And that is that council explore opportunities, effectively paraphrase it, council explore opportunities for commercial use of that building. As referenced in the officer report, there hasn't been any reason to drive that because there hasn't been any commercial applications for the use of the property until last week when we got that proposal of sorts that came through. So, so it's absolutely, there's always an option for council to lay this on the table. The form of which additional information could be provided. So if the RSL was to formally write to council and request and make a proposal again, that could be presented. I think that it's fair to say that the brigade members who are interested in having a gymnasium would remain interested in that. And then you've got potential commercial uses of, be determined how council. So,
Councillor?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So that commercial interest was the coffee shop sort of thing?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm supportive of Councillor Reid's request to delay so we can further discuss.
Yeah, well, I mean, my thoughts on it are quite simply is, as the recommendation is written, it does say subject to alternative proposals, and we now have two of them. So, sort of renders that actual recommendation moot.
Without any, which the I suppose the distinction would be being accepted versus received. So the intent, so to explain the intent of the officer's recommendation was that the officer's recommendation is the council notes that we're intending to use the Rhodesville building as a gymnasium, but if council was to accept an alternative proposal, that alternative proposal would override it because it's a kind of a non-binding disposal of land.
Okay.
The other part to I suppose, again, the colour here is that the brigade volunteers are the shires. So we're not disposing to a third party. It's not disposing of land to a commercial entity or to a not-for-profit group or anything like that. The brigades are us. They're our people. And so there's no disposal of land. It's actually using a shire building for training and physical fitness of shire people, effectively.
Yep.
Now, if there's another use, then your council would use it for that. So that's the distinction, I guess, between the disposal of land that's been previously proposed versus what's on the table here. It's a subtle distinction, but it's both a distinction in law and possibly a distinction in terms of intent.
Yep. All right. Back to you, Councillor Reid.
You need a motion laid on the table? Well, I'll move it,
All right.
can lay it on the table.
That's your motion. Do you wish to put an end date? Think you should.
To the next meeting?
Yep, April meeting. Just lay on the table seeking,
Further information?
okay? Yeah, it might be separated, that's it. Looks better, I like that. Councillor Reid's motion. Do I have a seconder? Chilcott?
Absolutely clear, everyone's voting on the same thing, that we would actually delete all that,
Yeah.
the council notes part, delete all of that.
Oh, much
Yep.
better. All right, councillors, there's motions. Does anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Ball, you do wish to speak against?
Yes.
Okay. We've heard some commentary. Councillor Reid, do you wish to continue?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward.
All right. And Councillor Chilcott? All right, Councillor Ball?
I think that the bushfire gym proposal can proceed for some time because the further information and the planning changes and requirements will take a considerable amount of time to come to fruition. I think and this motion as it stood allows for that to happen, so the bushfire brigade can start their gym stuff next week and be out in 2 or 3 months if we get to the information stage where especially with the coffee shop proposal, is a long time away. And whether that even makes any sense for the Shire to invest and upgrade the building for those purposes. So we can ignore that in the short term. With the RSL proposal, it may well be that they could work in conjunction with the gym, and the gym could get going. That could be sorted out as we go along. The bushfires could start tomorrow.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. That almost sounded to me like foreshadowing the original recommendation, Councillor Wall.
Very much like it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Would you like to record that, Casey? No, you've just deleted the whole thing, but...
Oh, look at that. Oh,
Impressive.
there's a professional if I've seen one.
You can extract that to the bottom and call that a foreshadowed at this stage. Councillor Ball. All right, any other speakers to the motion, which is lay on the table? Speakers for? Speakers against? Oh, yes, Councillor.
I'll just support Councillor Ball's thoughts there, and again, there's no reason to stop the fire brigade getting in there now, and there is a time period before when it can happen from commercially point of view. And yeah, that was what I'm thinking, that surely there might be an option for co-locating. It's a big building there, and there's no reason. And that may be an option.
All right, thank you. Speakers, you get the chance to close. Speakers for? Speakers against?
I'm not sure.
I can't help you until you speak.
I know, I'd just like to be able to say that it is quite a large building, as you said, and there's no reason why probably all three enterprises can't share the building in the long term. However, I'm just a little concerned that there may be some perception of favouritism towards the Bushfire Brigade, giving them at that area for weights when we have a perfectly functioning gym at the pool.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just
Yes,
some
okay.
information to Councillor O'Brien as to why.
Yep.
What Bushfire Brigade would be doing is using free weights, which aren't allowed at the gymnasium at the pool. The kettlebells and such things, that's the difference between the two.
Yep. All right, closing, Councillor Reid.
I think literally laying it on the table is this foreshadowed motion, if I understand it correctly, we're only noting it. It's, from what I could see, permission's probably already granted from the CEO, from what I could see, because we're only noting it. So there's nothing with laying it on the table to say they can't use it. They could actually go in there tomorrow and set it up. We're just noting that they're in there for the foreshadowed motion, but laying on the table for me is the same thing. They've already got permission, they're part of the Shire, it's a Shire use. This was just a formality to note it.
Yeah.
So we're not stopping them. As far as I'm concerned, laying it on the table, they could be in there tomorrow. We can then long-term investigate the options of what we can do at the next meeting going forward.
All right, thank you. Where are you voting on, councillors?
No.
Simply that we lay it on the table. The foreshadowed motion is to be dealt with next if the lay on the table motion fails.
Sorry, Mr. President.
Yes.
What's on the screen is not consistent with the motion that's before council at the moment. So
Right.
only the lay on the motion that's under consideration is simply the lay on the table, so that the council notes that subject to the alternative proposals in the first box needs to be deleted, because we're not doing a foreshadowed motion at the moment. We're doing that one there, which is,
Well done.
that one there, yeah,
Thank you, Mr. CEO.
which is also not the officer recommendations motion.
No. So as I said, the process is that the lay on the table motion fails, then the foreshadowed motion is discussed next. If the lay on the table motion is passed, the foreshadowed fails.
Great.
Okay.
All right, councillors, I'll put the first motion, the lay on the table.
Can I ask a question, please?
Councillor West?
Yeah, so the first motion gets up and it lays on the table. There's still no reason why the original motion couldn't take effect on the next council meeting, correct?
Absolutely no.
No.
Yep, all right. I shall put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? Okay, it's carried, 4-3. So the foreshadowed motion fails. We shall move on.
Just, Mr. President, sorry, just to be clarified, the foreshadowed motion, that will still be recorded, will it? Because, so it's deleted.
It's deleted.
Because the movement.
The motion was never moved, only motions that are moved.
Right, okay.
All right, we shall move on. Item 8.1.9, page 103. Draft submission of Walker's discussion paper regarding potential electoral reform. And the submission that is there's a recommendation the council approves. Moving, Councillor Wall?
Very happy to.
I don't know that it's going to win, but thank you. Councillor O'Brien, seconding. Anything you wish to add, Mr. CEO?
No, thank you.
Straightforward. The dissent on the motion? With that carried 7-0.
118.
Subdivision, lot 363 Serdar.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to move an alternate motion.
Okay? Yes? Your motion?
I'd like that the Shire does support the current subdivision proposal for 363 Serdar Street
Okay?
and conditions similar to the,
So you're only changing one word in that recommendation?
unless it appears again somewhere, that the Shire would support appropriate side-by-side configuration needs to come out as well, which is
Okay.
the next line down.
So I think you'd remove that entire dot point, Councillor Ball.
Yes.
Oh, hang on. Just that one, that's it. The rest of it is up to,
It's pretty much standard, I would have thought, the conditions that for any subdivision or development.
Was it does support in that top line?
that's it. Does support, so you just remove the word not. Okay, councillor, you,
I'd just like to note that the street name is incorrectly spelled,
Just
just so that you know where we are.
Well done.
Serdar, not Serdar.
Well picked.
Oh.
They could pick up. Thank you. So you're not seconding
No.
Councillor Wall's motion at this stage? All right, we could battle to find Serdar Street. Google Maps, all
I'll
right.
second it.
Councillor Kilpatrick has seconded the motion. Okay. It is interesting. I did ask the CEO why we don't support the battle axe. And it was largely to do with advice from planners. Councillor West, are you waving for a particular reason?
Oh, you're better trying to ask a question, Mr. President.
Okay, well, just bear with me for a moment if you will.
Yeah.
I'm first of all going to ask, is there any dissent to the motion?
Well, before,
Okay, question?
not actually a question, it's a statement, Mr. President. If you go to page 119,
The next page.
okay then, and you'll see halfway down the page it says State Planning Policy 3.7 bushfire.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the next two lines, it says here that Shire does not support the current subdivision proposal.
Yes.
So do you need to take the word "not" out of there or not?
No.
No, because you've changed the motion?
No, not at all. That's simply the background information that the staff have provided.
Right, that's fine.
Council's not necessarily agreeing with those comments.
Okay, just ask the question.
Yeah, by all means. So once again, is there any dissent on the motion? Councillor
I have a
O'Brien?
question.
Yes.
I don't know what you mean by battle axe.
Leg.
Yeah,
Okay, I think there is a diagram here somewhere. On page, okay, no, not that one.
127.
27, it doesn't actually show you the battle axe that's proposed though, does it?
But it is the battle axe that's proposed.
The right-hand side.
Oh, okay, yes. Essentially, yes, on that page, Councillor O'Brien, page 127,
yes.
that battle axe is essentially a driveway.
Oh, okay.
And that's the driveway, that driveway forms part of Lot B
Okay, thank you.
in the titles, as
Thanks
far
for
as the
that
titles are
clarification.
concerned. Yep. All right, that's the proposal, that's the motion at least. There is no dissent. I shall put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried absolutely. Mr. CEO did note to me that we're not the final arbiters of that process anyway. It goes to the State Planning
Commission.
Commission. They may change our mind. Eight point 1.11 proposed tree farm. Yep. For the record, Councillor Ball has left the room. CEO, anything you wish to expand upon?
No, thank you.
Understand?
Oh, sorry, sorry, I'll mention one part to
Sure.
it, that is a relevant consideration, is that this particular development does span two local government areas. So it does span both the Shire of Woodnelling and the Shire of Wagin. The Shire of Woodnelling, independent of the Shire, has also assessed this application at their March meeting. And for information and information only, the Shire of Woodnelling passed a recommendation that is consistent with the officer's recommendation presented here.
Right. All right, councillors, so moving, Councillor Patrick. Speak up. Councillor Reid, are you seconding? Okay, that being the case, is there any questions? Dare I ask for questions? Is there any dissent on the motion? If not, I shall put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried 6-0. Pretty diagram, isn't it? Are they warm enough yet?
Not 10 minutes.
Okay, I'll work to that. Councillor Ball has re-entered the room. Councillor Ball, that was passed.
Good, thank you.
Item 8.1.12 on page 136. Revised draft comment on the draft Renewable Energy Planning Code. The recommendation, this is a submission. Yes?
Sorry.
Mr. Ed?
I'd only add that as referenced in the report, this was considered at the February 2026 meeting. The officers reported at the time, and council resolution noted that there'd be an opportunity to refine that submission. This is the refined submission that is proposed to be sent as our final submission to the process.
Yeah, all right. Councillor, is there a councillor prepared to move on the recommendation or an alternative? Councillor Ball moving on the recommendation, thank you. Councillor O'Brien seconds. Is there any questions? Any dissent on the motion? As you can see, it was put before the zone, our zone meeting back in February, I think it was, and received.
Hoodlink.co.uk.
Received. Is there any dissent on the motion? I shall declare that carried 7-0. Strike that for the record, Councillor Ball.
Sorry, on 49.
Page 149, the Deputy CEO's report, and there's a recommendation that we receive. Councillor Kilpatrick has moved, Councillor O'Brien seconds. He's not here to defend himself, but the CEO will, I'm sure. Are there any questions of the report? I think somewhere in there is more commentary on the possible upgrade of our IT CEO.
Yeah, so Deputy CEO and Manager of Finance popped along to see.
Yes, and both our finance officers.
So would you expand on your visit there?
Yes, so we went over to the Shire of West Arthur.
West Arthur, yes.
All right,
Well done.
in Darkin. And they gave us a very detailed demonstration of their new IT software, Magic. So they took us through all the different modules, finance modules, creditors, payroll. We spent the morning there, and it was a very good look at another possibility for a system. I believe the DCO is also trying to line up somewhere for us to go and see the RedTech suite of options as well. That would have given us 3 options to look at.
Right, yes.
I'd just like to make a statement and say congratulations on the bench seats that were put around town and through the Wallarama area. At all times, I did not see any of those benches empty. They were fully utilised.
Okay, good. Certainly at Wallarama, a warm day, people were looking for
Terrible.
somewhere to sit down. Yep. All right, any further of that report? That being the case, I have a mover and a seconder. Is there any dissent on the motion? Declare that carried 7-0. We have item 8.4.1 on page 157. Works Manager report. The recommendation that we receive, or we note. Thank you, Councillor Kilpatrick has moved. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Reid. Works Manager, what have you been up to?
Been busy actually.
Okay. I would have thought.
Yeah. As it says there, the Belgian Road now, we've repaired all those wheel ruts on the outside to seal on both sides and stabilised them and sealed them all up. Extended the culvert in the gully that Councillor Ball requested. We've done that by 1,200 each side, put the new rails in and all that. And then we had to do a culvert back up near Darren Spencer's place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it had sleeper overlay on it, and the big trucks, they just break. You know, the mole sleepers can't handle it. So we had to replace all that, close the road for a day. And it was a bit of a task, but we ended up getting it done. So that's all our construction finished for the year now.
Right.
So we've completed all that, and then reseals are all done. They were finished on Friday. We tried a new technique on the Jolyon Road with a two-coat seal that we've been doing. Instead of spraying the top coat, you spray it at 2.2 litres per square metre on the bottom, put your 14 down and dry rack the 7, so you put the 7 on dry. And it falls into all little voids, and that stops bitumen sticking to the top of the stone and bleeding up during harvest. So we've just done a 2K section to see how to go this year, so we'll find out next harvest. But it come up quite good. It's all fallen in there and you haven't got that black shiny stone sitting on top. And we've done the same down here in Burnell Street, we've done the same thing on there. So we'll see how the trucks handle that. Other than that, we started the culvert on Dongalocking Road we're supposed to do last year. And how that has held up during the last harvest, I don't know. Because we went out there on Monday and took the dirt off it. One of our blokes stood on it and fell straight through it. So all the boards are rotten under there, so it has to be fixed. Otherwise, someone's going to get killed out there. So it's going to take another week to do the other side. We'll finish this side this week with a concrete overlay. So yeah, we shouldn't have a problem with that ever again. But I'd say there's more around the Shire with those old sleepers that's going to give us grief. So when we see them fail, we just have to replace them.
So we did budget
Yeah, we did.
fair amount of money for this, didn't we?
100 grand in there, but that particular job was when I done the Delane Bridge, the second one near the wheat bin, I had some money left over. And we were allowed to spend it on that culvert. We got permission to do it, so that money's getting funded to do that.
Right.
So that won't have impact on that money we put away for the other culverts.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we just, coming up, we've got the Onderman Street house, we've got to demolish that. Stage 3 of the weir, we've got to dig all that out and get all those solar pumps put in and before the end of June, which we should be able to do. And just a couple of footpaths and a bit of curbing to do as well. So, yep, everything seems to be going quite good. With the fuel prices and everything, I was talking to the Shire President about what it costs to fill a grader up now. And it used to cost about $680, and now it's nearly $1,200. So with this rain coming, do we keep the graders parked up or get them moving?
Fair question.
And that lasts 2 days usually with the grader. So it's going to have a big impact on your budget.
Thoughts, councillors?
I'm not a weather forecaster, Mr. President, but probably the reverse, if what I say would be the most accurate. I just see the road maintenance and the maintenance grading are lumped together as a line item.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
And it's, just off the top of my head, we're a bit over. I just wonder which part of that is causing the budget
I'd
overrun.
say it'd be probably the grading, keeping the roads up to scratch. Yeah, at a guess, I haven't had a good look, but that's what I'd say it'd be. Because one grader, he just scratches roads all year, while the other one's doing construction. You know, and they're corrugated up and keep them so people can travel on them.
Yeah.
There's a couple now, there's, I think there's one out the Beaufort Road and the Jolyon Farm one's a bit corrugated again. But we've left them, so it's really a waste of time until we get a rain. And we can pull them up and roll them and get them compacted again, but how far do you want to go? You know, because they could all be cut over, but do we just wait and see what happens, or?
Yes, I think it's the way to do it, wait and see what happens. I mean, we could end up with, who knows what we end up with, so.
And I don't know where the fuel prices are going to end up either.
Hmm.
They could keep going up and up. But that was based on $3.02. And it's now $3.14, I think, isn't it, up the roadhouse here?
Up the roadhouse, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what Liberty sell it for, something, because I haven't bought any fuel off them since the pay rise.
Yeah, I couldn't say.
Like rise.
We did have a conversation a week and a half ago about this, the CEO and works manager and myself, and my thoughts were, to a large degree, when the roads are that powdery dry, skimming them doesn't really achieve much. Else it does is pushes that to the sides and it blows away. We actually lose gravel out of it within reason. So I wasn't too concerned about slowing down those maintenance grades. But to my mind, if the roads, if we get sufficient moisture back into the roads, we would do it on an as-needs basis to some degree, and you would choose the priorities as to how you do that rather than a whole grade, would be my thinking, but other councillors may think otherwise.
I guess, Mr. President, it's hard to get a good handle on what we're in every minute of the day or every day of the week, but I think that makes a lot of sense, certainly. On the fuel issue, there may well be some restrictions where it can't happen, but one of the issues might be the shortage of fuel and rationing, and the amount of storage that the Shire has made me think that do we need to have a look at that, the capacity up in the amount of storage. There may be some dangerous goods issues or whatnot, but that I'm not aware of. But
Yeah, there will be, yeah.
Does that apply to diesel?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, under the Mining Act, I think we got 8,000 litres there, and I can only order 5,000 at one given time without going over that. So I can order 5,000 this week and 5,000 next week like that, but I can't order 10,000 straight up. That's how it used to be. Yeah, I'm not sure if it still stands like that.
Mr. President,
Sure.
probably followed from my perspective on the fuel matter. Obviously, this is something that is bigger than the Shire and bigger than the country and the entire world is dealing with. From our perspective, we're obviously, it's cute to say monitoring the situation, but we are doing exactly that. So I've had conversations with brigades, SES, that tomorrow there's an state emergency meeting through ROAC or one of those similar groups from Great Southern, providing a briefing on this. The key priority for the Shire is obviously keeping emergency services and essential services fueled up, and we've got confidence in that. So we have entered arrangements with informally with the Great Southern Waste to make sure the bins keep on getting picked up and the like. So we have probably greater assurance with our fuel supply than our contractor does in that case, and so just in terms of local logistics, and so we're making sure the bin truck gets enough diesel to keep on running. The brigades and St John's have their own networks as well, which we're working through on that. As everyone in this room would know, as consumers of diesel and fuel, while the Shire wouldn't want to say that we're a small player, in comparison to many of our ratepayers and residents in the Shire, we are very small consumers of diesel. And so the manager of Works and I have had several conversations about what we can do in terms of optics and responsible, proportional response to this. We have downgraded some of our activities, but we haven't made big song and dances and announcements of that. Some of our neighbours have, but we didn't feel like that was a necessarily appropriate thing. We're pragmatically responding. If there's work that needs to be done that involves consuming fuel, we're continuing to do that. At the same time, we're not out there to be seen grading for the purposes of being seen to be grading either. So that's kind of the approach that we're taking. We all hope that this madness will end shortly, and the ships will start flowing and be able to get to some sense of normality again.
All right, thank you, CEO. So, you finished your report as such, there was nothing further?
No, I think that's about all I had.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further questions, councillors? Yes, councillor
One more
Moore.
question. There's a couple of people from in town have mentioned this tree that is on the main road on Ventnor Street, just on that corner, just across the road from the pub. There's a tree on the corner, and they're saying that when they're on Ventnor Street, facing towards the town, they have to pull out quite a way to be able to see around the tree.
Is that the one on the nib there?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it has had a couple of people come to me concerned about how dangerous it is.
Yeah, we have one near the post office like that, and we end up skirting it underneath. So I'll have to look at that and see if we can do the same.
Yeah,
Right.
have a look at that.
Yeah.
There was another tree, but I can't remember where they said. So
Yeah.
normally I would speak to you during the week, but I'll keep forgetting about it.
Yeah.
All right, duly noted. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, councillors, anything further? Works manager of his report? That being the case, I have a mover and a seconder. Is there any dissent on the motion? I shall declare that carried 7-0. Somewhere along. Item 9. CEO, you with me?
Yes, I am.
You're on Google Earth having a look at that tree? Can't find it?
That's give us his chance.
The chainsaw's taken it already.
Yeah. I'm also trying to work out how to spell streets in our shire.
Councillor O'Brien might be the one to go to the street names.
Yeah, well, the next one's interesting.
Yeah, no. Made that one up as well.
9.1. And I did note to the CEO just a moment ago, where the hell is Swale Street?
Yes.
It's near Cedar with no R.
All right, so this motion is in two parts, councillors. And part one is a council revokes that resolution as of last month. Do you wish to deal, councillors? Councillor Chilcott,
I have a question.
you have a
Why?
question?
Why? There was no reason.
Okay, we may well get to that in the deliberation, given the CEO's response to your question. That may form part of the debate, if you like. Having said that, as a revocation motion, is the councillor prepared to move? Councillor Ball have moved, Councillor Kilpatrick seconds. All right, that being the case, I will ask, is there any dissent on that motion? There is, okay. Councillor Ball, your motion?
You see, wrote a little on a page here so I don't forget anything. So I voted for the motion the previous week because I was not comfortable without further consideration. The only option I had was to vote against that motion. I couldn't vote for it since I didn't have the information I was required. Several new points were raised, both from just before the meeting and during the meeting, and I needed more time to absorb the ramifications of those. Overnight and early the next day, after careful consideration, I believe the motion to sell should have been supported. 2 blocks being built on in a short time frame is development that is worthy of support. I then sought feedback from other proponents of the 3 and joined a motion to revoke the decision 554 8.2.2. So that's the basis of it.
All right, thank you. Councillor Kilpatrick?
Yeah, look, again, similar line to Councillor Ball.
was all for selling, and then at the last moment decided that we wouldn't sell them, but given the life of the time overnight, realised that they should be sold. It's against the motion we have here.
All right, thank you. Councillor Chilcott, speaking against, I take it?
I'm still not convinced as to why we should sell them. My issue is that we do have a building program where we are looking at building houses into the future, staff housing and the like. Do we need the money enough to actually sell these blocks when they could be used later on? I mean, if we sell them now for $40,000 per block and then need to build more houses in the future, we won't have enough land stock. That is my concern.
Okay. All right, speakers for? Speaking for the motion? Speakers for the motion? Councillor Reid?
It's got a question of whether Councillor Ball would make a slight adjustment to his motion. If this happens to get up and these blocks are sold,
We are only looking at part one at this stage, not part two.
okay.
You're aware of that?
Yeah, okay.
So it's simply part one, which is the revocation motion. All right, I shall move on. Councillor West, question? Or you're speaking against?
Speak again.
Okay,
Yeah.
you heard the floor.
Look, my original thing is, and I back Councillor Chilcott's comments on, you know, why do we need to sell them? Because I think down the road, land is becoming a premium, and I think in due course that it'll be excellent position for the Shire to build further houses on. That's my thing, and as Councillor Chilcott said, we don't need the money, and I think it's a great asset to be holding at this point in time.
All right, thank you. Speakers for? There being none, I'll ask Councillor Ball to close.
Part of my thinking is that not any development is good development, but it is certainly development. The contract to build in a short period of time is excellent. It justifies a lesser price.
That would be the next motion, not this motion, Councillor Ball.
Yes, but I guess in justifying my argument, I guess that there is a considerable bank of Shire land around the place, and if we don't need the money, as Councillor Chilcott says, but by revoking the motion, I think it allows another argument for the use of that money, which others have spoken about.
All right.
May I ask a question?
No, that being the case, councillors, debate has closed. I will put the motion. All those in favour? And those against? Okay, it's carried 4 and 3. So the decision has been revoked. And dare I say it, Mr. CEO, it's the worst part of having a small council, having shifted the numbers in the way that we have. It's perhaps I won't say that. I'll leave it off the record.
So, Mr. President, I might just explain.
Yes.
Revocation motions are not things that this council has dealt with often, I think, at all in my time at the Shire. So, as the officer report mentioned, the revocation decision having been passed effectively means that decision was never made. It's obviously a matter of public record, but at this point, council is able to make any decision that it wishes regarding this matter. So the notice of motion put forward is per the officer's recommendation, but to give council all the information, it can pass that motion or any other motion, including the motion that was passed at the February meeting.
The one that was just revoked.
Exactly.
in other words.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is a
all right.
completely clean slate is what I want to inform council.
Yeah. All right, councillors, how do you wish to deal?
I have a question, if you wouldn't mind.
You may.
If it goes ahead to the blocks to be sold, where would the money be allocated to?
The funds go into the muni account for a better option, Mr CEO.
Yeah, so the decision, the officer's recommendation at the February council meeting was to give notice of the intention to dispose.
Yes.
So that involves putting a notice in the paper and in the Wall Press and on social media saying that the Shire intends to dispose of these blocks. Does anybody object? And then per part 3, that any submissions received are presented to council to enable it to consider whether to agree to the disposal. At that point, council would make a determination whether to proceed or not, and if council wished to proceed, where that money would go.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Councillor,
Can I ask a question?
you may.
Given that the properties were valued between 45 and 55,000, and given the prices of real estate, not just in the metro area or other towns, why are we offering the properties to these people for less than the market valuation?
Okay, I may answer that to some degree. We're not actually offering them.
Oh,
They've offered to us.
oh,
That would be the
okay.
money. Am I right, Mr CEO?
So they initially offered a lower amount, and there was a
Right.
officers, I think they offered initially 35, and officers said, well, we got to get an evaluation, we got the valuation back, and there was a degree of negotiation prior to presentation to council. Given the unusual, but we think very important clause in a contract, which would be that development clause. So that we sought information from the valuers about what the financial impact of that clause would be. They advised us that they were unable, based on the accepted professional methodology that valuers have to do to factor in that clause.
Mhm.
So in part, officers have factored in that clause that, which is maybe one word, but a sort of punitive clause on the sale, or caveat on that sale, that you need to develop or else
Yeah.
it reverts.
Can I just add to that question? So if they do not develop the property within 2 years, where do we stand as a Shire?
So it would, the return of funds, if we get the land back.
Oh, okay.
Fair question.
Yep.
All right, how do you wish to deal, councillors?
Just to move the February motion.
You move the officer's recommendation?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Kilpatrick? All right, we've been here once before, we'll have another crack at it. Are there speakers against? Councillor Chilcott, okay. Councillor Ball?
I'll just harp on the point of the extra development that housing's screaming out for all over the place for whether these people live in, that goes through and they live in their houses or it's extra housing in town. There are others going up around the place, and personally I'd like to see for perhaps a perceived inconvenience in the long run, the sale, or at least be advertised, and we'll we'll head on from there. The argument about the blocks and where the money is used may well be an advantage to developing other blocks of the Shire zone to put services on and whatnot. There are at least 10 or a dozen Shire blocks kicking around town that could well be benefit from this without dipping into our own budget.
All right, thank you. Councillor Kilpatrick, anything to add?
Just to add, I just think it's an important point. I feel that the having the buildings developed within 2 years is an important part. We have a lot of empty blocks that don't generate a lot of revenue from rates, whereas these would generate rates, increase in rates pretty quickly. So I see that offset in what was perceived as being of lower value would potentially be made up by the rates.
All right. Councillor Chilcott?
Given the market value of the land, $50,000, the amount of $40,000 I believe is too little. I think we should be asking for something a little higher, somewhere in the vicinity of at least $45,000.
All right. Fair point. Okay, speakers for? Speakers against? Councillor West?
Yeah, remunerating Councillor Chilcott's comments there, that I just think that the value of land in Wagen is certainly on the uprise, and I think they're worth more than that, but I think this may come out once it's advertised, if we do or don't accept the offer. Is that correct? Yeah, thank you.
That is a possibility.
Yeah, possibility.
Yes. So you're speaking against?
Yeah, I'm speaking against, but the vote might be different.
Only just. Right, speakers for? No, in closing, Councillor Moore?
Yes, we've done the arguments. Thank you for the alternative. And I understand the point. But, no need to say any more.
All right, that being the case, understand the motion, councillors. I shall put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? It's carried 4 and 3. All right.
Urgent business item.
We have an urgent business.
We do, which is the next item, so it's the attachment, so.
Where's that got to?
It didn't get to the portal due to the lateness of the day.
Yeah.
So the minute taker does have it on the screen, which is good.
Oh, God, she's good. Well done. Item 11, urgent business. Through here. Okay, so you simple request from Councillor West. You prepared to move that, Councillor West? Your motion. You can read it.
No.
Oh, shall I read it for you? Oh, here we go.
Sorry, Mr. President.
Yes.
I believe that Councillor West did indicate his intention to declare impartiality interest in this item prior to its consideration.
Yep.
So I just want that noted for
Yes.
the record that has occurred.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Shall I read it, Councillor West? Are you comfortable?
No, I can read it now.
Okay. And I think there was an addendum part which did give the option for other councillors to join Councillor West in the process. Other councillors wish to complete training modules. They are available, and council has a budget for those training modules. I'm not seeing a great deal of interest in the idea, but that's okay. Councillor West? It doesn't actually say it there.
What day is that?
It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday, the 5th
May the 5th. It's a bit later than what the conversation we had some time back.
Well, maybe in Bali.
It's damned awkward. See how it rides, at least by putting it there you have the opportunity.
Yeah. There'll be another one another day.
November, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
If
Okay,
this
so
date's available, I'll go, otherwise go.
you're prepared to move?
Yep.
Councillor West has moved. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Chilcott?
I think the motion actually allows for a change of date anyway.
Yeah.
Doesn't specify.
It does. Doesn't actually bind a date.
Yeah.
Is there any dissent on the motion?
I just have a question. This module, I presume, was part of councillor training, the compulsory training that we've all had to undertake?
Probably.
Yes.
It's the same module.
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Given that our training comes up every 5 years, we have to repeat,
Yes.
that must be awfully close. I'm not being miserable about $260, but if we have to repeat the module training anyway, why are we doing this?
All right. Are you speaking against the motion?
Yes.
Right.
We've had it all night.
I guess that was that question.
Having heard the process, Councillor West, your motion?
Look, I think I'd like to go there and just brush up a few of my questioning at council.
Yep. All right. Councillor Chilcott, anything to add?
Nothing further.
Okay. I think that was closing and opening all in one statement, Councillor West. Is there any further speakers to the motion?
I've got a question.
Yes.
Is this module, it says here conflicts of interest,
Yes.
which is different to what Councillor West just said. I think he just said answering questions or asking questions.
Yeah, well, it's within the
Unless it's more
framework.
broader, it's
Within
broader
the
than just that.
framework, yeah. I think it fits in the framework.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, that being the case, I shall put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? That is carried. 7-0. There's one other item, Mr. CEO.
Michael Ford, close doors.
Close doors.
Yes, please.
I'll take a motion that we close the meeting to the public. Thank you, Councillor Chilcott. You're always on with that one. Do I have a seconder? Councillor O'Brien. Taking it there's no dissent, I shall declare that carried. And hopefully we haven't taken too long and they're burnt. Mr. Minister. That,
Crispy.
there being no further business, I shall declare the meeting closed. 1:51.
Well, Mr. President, you kicked high, I reckon.